Welcome back to the headquarters, everyone. We need to have a serious heart-to-heart conversation about the state of the Los Angeles Angels and the fascinating, chaotic domino effect that is currently brewing in the National League East. The hot stove isn't just warm. It is radiating a level of heat that could either forge a new identity for the Halos or burn their hopes for 2026 to the ground. We are looking at a market that is rapidly thinning out. The narrative has been set. Alex Bregman is a Cub, the big names are cashing checks in new cities, and the Angels faithful are rightfully asking, what is the plan? But amidst this anxiety, a unique window of opportunity is cracking open, specifically hinged on one man. Bo Bichette. The latest intel from the inner circles of the MLB suggests a massive shakeup. If Bo Bichette inks a deal with the Philadelphia Phillies, it is not just a signing, it is a tectonic shift that creates an immediate surplus in Philadelphia. We have seen this story play out in baseball history time and time again. Think back to when the Yankees acquired A-Rod despite having Jeter, forcing a shuffle that changed the league. Or when the Padres hoarded shortstops, eventually dealing pieces away to balance their roster. The Phillies are currently staring at a good problem, an embarrassment of riches in the infield. But for the Angels, this is the lifeline we have been waiting for. We aren't talking about dumpster diving for reclamation projects. We are talking about capitalizing on another team's roster crunch to secure legitimate, proven MLB talent. This situation requires us to look at the macroeconomics of the sport. The Phillies are in a win-now window that is arguably tighter than anyone admits. They cannot afford to carry dead weight or positional redundancies when they have holes to fill elsewhere. If Bichette arrives, the math simply does not work for everyone currently wearing red pinstripes in Philly. This creates a leverage point for Angels GM Perry Minasian. He doesn't have to overpay for a free agent in a bidding war. He can offer salary relief or prospect capital to a team that desperately needs to reallocate resources. This is how smart organizations operate. They don't just shop, they scavenge the overflow of the contenders. However, the clock is ticking. The Angels are not the only team monitoring this situation. If the Bichette to Philly rumors solidify into reality, the phone lines will light up instantly. The Seattle Mariners need offense. The San Francisco Giants are always lurking. If the Angels are passive, if they hesitate for even 24 hours, they risk watching the perfect solution to their infield woes slip away to a division rival. We are standing on the precipice of a decision that could define the defensive stability and offensive consistency of this team for the next half-decade. The question isn't just if the Phillies make a move, but if the Angels have the foresight and the aggression to be the first ones knocking on the door when they do. Let's break down the targets. Now let's dissect the anatomy of this potential trade scenario, because the who is just as important as the how. We aren't just throwing names at a wall, we are analyzing fit, financial impact, and on-field chemistry. If Philadelphia lands Bichette, 3 specific names enter the orbit of the Angels, and each brings a radically different philosophy to how this team could be built in 2026. First, we have the perfect fit, Alec Bohm. This is the scenario that has the analytics department and the old-school scouts nodding in agreement. Bohm represents something the Angels have desperately lacked since the prime years of their previous lineups. A high-contact, low-strikeout machine at the hot corner. In an era where launch, angle, and swing and miss are accepted evils, Bohm is a throwback. He squares the ball up. But let's look deeper at the context. Bohm going to the trade block isn't about lack of talent. It's about the salary arbitration crunch and positional blocking. For the Angels, acquiring Bohm stabilizes third base immediately. It pushes Anthony Rendon to a permanent DH role or a utility role, essentially acknowledging that reliance on Rendon's health is a fool's errand. Financially, Bohm will cost money in arbitration, but compared to the free agent market rate for 3B production, he is a bargain. We are talking about a guy who drives and runs and doesn't wilt under pressure. The impact on the clubhouse would be tangible. You bring in a guy who has played deep into October, adding that winning DNA to a young core that is still learning how to close out games. Then there is the speed and defense philosophy embodied by Bryson Stott. This is a more complex conversation. Insiders like Ty Dombert have hinted that Philly might prefer to keep Bohm and move the middle infielders. Stott is an analytics darling, 2.2 WAR minimum in every full season. He isn't going to hit 40 home runs, but his glove at second base or shortstop is elite. Why does this matter for the Angels? Look at our pitching staff. We have young arms and pitchers who rely on balls in play. A defense that can turn a hit into an out saves runs, saves pitch counts, and ultimately saves games. Acquiring Stott allows the Angels to be patient with Christian Moore. We often rush prospects to the big leagues out of desperation, stunting their growth. Stott provides a high-end bridge, or perhaps even a long-term solution if Moore moves to the outfield or DH. It raises the floor of the entire team's defensive efficiency, a metric where the Angels have lagged behind the league leaders like the Guardians or Dodgers. Finally, we have the wild card Edmundo Sosa. This is the move that scares people, but it shouldn't. Sosa is the definition of unlocked potential. Stuck behind superstars in Philly, his sample sizes are small, but his metrics are screaming for regular playing time. A 109 OPS plus in 2025 is nothing to scoff at, but look at the sprint speed, 96th percentile. The Angels have lacked dynamic athleticism on the base paths. Sosa changes the geometry of the game. He turns singles into doubles. He scores from first on a gapper. He disrupts the pitcher just by being on base. From an asset management standpoint, Sosa is the moneyball play. He costs the least in trade capital, allowing Manasian to keep his top prospects, while potentially offering a breakout season that makes the GM look like a genius. However, the risk is real. Can he handle 150 games? Can he maintain that production without the protection of the Phillies lineup? It's a gamble, but fortune favors the bold. As we zoom out and look at the roster construction for the upcoming season, one thing becomes painfully clear. Mediocrity is no longer an option for the Los Angeles Angels. The fan base has endured enough retooling years and transitional periods to last a lifetime. The sheer existence of this Bo Bichette rumor involving Philadelphia is a gift from the baseball gods, and to ignore it would be front office malpractice. We have analyzed the targets, Bohm's consistent bat, Stott's defensive wizardry, and Sosa's electric upside. But this report is about more than just 3 players. It is about the philosophy of the franchise moving forward. If the Angels sit on their hands while the Phillies clear their logjam, and we watch Alec Bohm hitting doubles for the Seattle Mariners or Bryson Stott turning double plays for the San Francisco Giants, the frustration in Anaheim will reach a boiling point. We operate in the American League West, a division that takes no prisoners. The Astros are always retooling, the Rangers have tasted glory, and the Mariners are desperate. Standing still is effectively moving backward. We need to consider the doomsday scenario where the Angels do nothing. We enter the season banking on health from players who haven't been healthy in 3 years. We rely on prospects who might not be ready. We finish with 76 wins and ask, what went wrong? This trade, targeting the Phillies' surplus, is the preventative cure for that scenario. It signals to the locker room, to the fans, and to the league that the Angels are serious about raising their floor. It tells Mike Trout and the young core that help is coming, whether it is the stability of Bohm or the athleticism of Sosa. Bringing in a hungry, talented player from a winning culture changes the temperature of the room. It shifts the mindset from hoping to compete to expecting to win. So, this is where I turn it over to you, the heartbeat of this channel. The hot stove is unpredictable, but the logic here is undeniable. If the dominoes fall and Bichette goes to Philly, Perry Manasian needs to have his offer ready before the ink is dry. I want to hear your voice on this. If you were sitting in the GM's chair, which of these 3 distinct paths do you take? Do you prioritize the safe, high-contact bat of Bohm, or do you gamble on the electric speed of Sosa? Or perhaps you think the defense of Stott is the missing key. Drop your dream scenario in the comments below. Let's get a Real debate going. And hey, If you want to stay ahead of every trade rumor and roster update this offseason, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. We are in this together all season long. I'll catch you guys in the next update.